Okay, so second case study of crime. Now moving on to Cohen. Now, not to be confused with Stanley Cohen. Okay, this is Albert Cohen. It's very annoying that we have two sociologists, important sociologists, with the same surname. But this is Albert Cohen. Okay, he is a functionalist. Okay, so if you were to get a 4 marker or a 3 marker asking about Cohen specifically, definitely mention that he's a functionalist because that's just sort of knowledge that you need. Okay, you need to know what perspective he comes from. Now, I will say, last one that we did was Becker. Becker is one of the more difficult theories in terms of sort of getting your head around the whole interactionist perspective. Cohen is a bit more straightforward. Okay, so I will say this one, hopefully, fingers crossed, shouldn't take you so long to sort of understand and get your head around. Now, Cohen argues very simply that working class boys, they want everything that everyone else wants. They want the big house. They want the nice big TV. They want all those things that everyone strives for. But education and other sort of bits of society lets them down. Okay, so we've actually talked about how that happens in the education unit. So we've got obviously teacher labeling, we've got different speech codes, we've got all sorts of things, material deprivation, things like that. But basically, education has let them down. They leave education with very little or no employment prospects, and therefore, there's no way for them to realistically and legally attain those goals of the big house and the big TV and things like that. So Cohen saw this and thought, well, basically, they've got to find a way to get to these goals because they're not just going to sit back and say, oh well, I can't achieve those goals, so hey ho. What they did is they reacted. Okay, they got stuck at the bottom of society. Okay, they've got no employment prospects. They're not necessarily respected by their middle class peers, and so they suffer from what Cohen described as status frustration. Now, we all know what frustration is. Okay, and hopefully by now you know what status is. So, a working class, particularly boys' status was low. Okay, they are at the bottom of society, like I said. So they get frustrated with that. They can't attain the goals, and so they turn to criminality as their alternative route to success. Okay, they become part of a criminal subculture. They sort of, as in, they join up with like-minded people who've either been let down by education or feel disrespected by society, and they all collectively engage in criminal activities like stealing or sort of vandalism or even truancy from school if they're still in school. Um, and therefore, they get recognition from the people in that subculture. So where society was ignoring them before and not allowing them to gain any status, suddenly they found a group of like-minded individuals in a gang or a subculture of some sort who value them for their engagement in those criminal activities. Okay, you gain sort of like street cred, if you like, and that gives them that symbolic capital that they've been looking for. Okay, and also don't forget, if they're stealing, they're also gaining sort of money and things that they couldn't gain via like jobs and things like that. Okay, so it's a win-win for these people. Now, that's the theory. That's literally it. So they have no opportunity to gain the goals, so they turn to crime. Simple as that. They suffer from status frustration and they find like minded individuals to commit crime with. Okay, that's it. Now, it has to be said, and it's in the bottom paragraph here, this theory is not perfect. It's what we call quite deterministic. Okay, it assumes that when a working class boy in particular doesn't get what they want, they're going to turn to crime. And now we hopefully all know that that's not necessarily true. Okay, not everyone joins a gang, not everyone engages in criminal activity. Some people just keep working. Okay, they keep working, trying through legitimate means to get where they want to go. Okay, and equally, if there are sort of negative reactions, if people do turn to crime, if they do turn to sort of gangs and subcultures, it's not necessarily because they want to achieve societal goals. They could make their own goals. That's absolutely fine. They could do it out of resentment for the people who have previously labeled them or let them down. So, like their teachers or the other students who've done well in school. It's not necessarily that they're driven by like cash goals. it could just be out of resentment, out of not wanting to sort of, but wanting to save face, almost to sort of show I am successful in my own way. Okay, so that's Cohen. There are some problems with this theory, but I think it is a good one. Okay, and the idea of status frustration is something that could go on a flashcard. It's quite easy to revise. So, for anyone who's not sure how to word that in their own words, here's my completed version. Okay, I'm not going to read through it. Okay, but pause the video and take that if you want to. And also, this is very important. This theory, although it was sort of done a long time ago, it's still very relevant to modern society because there are super rich people, think like Jeff Bezos, for example, and there's also lots of super poor people. So actually, it's if anything more relevant today than ever before. Okay, and then there's also this video clip, okay, of the London riots. Okay, again, here's my completed version, but basically, London riots are a perfect example of modern society, modernish, where status frustration has quite clearly occurred. Okay, so do use that example in your exam answers if it comes up. Okay, but that's Cohen. Hopefully that all made sense. If you have any further questions, please do approach one of us in the department, and we will be more than happy to explain something to you for any of these case studies. Okay, but thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.